Hey from us at 420 Trainers. Get ready to delve into RVT in a way that's clear, engaging, and actually useful. We've designed this course to be practical, easy to follow, and most importantly, worth your time. Along the way, you'll find helpful insights, real-world examples, and tips to make learning even easier. Whether you're a beginner or looking to refine your expertise, this course is for you. No fluff, no jargon, just clear, practical knowledge you can use right away. Let's jump in. In every RVT course, we focus on two key things: real-world examples of the rules and regulations that could put your license at risk, and the most frequently tested topics on final exams, especially the ones often answered incorrectly. We offer 5 modules in our basic RVT course. This preview will give you a sampling of how we meld content, graphics, animations, and voiceovers with Knoll's adult learning techniques and behavioral methods. Our goal? To make the RVT experience transcend tedious and become engaging, informative, and even entertaining. Module 1 covers legal, so this excerpt provides agents with some very important facts, with key insights into why many rules and regulations exist in Massachusetts' legal cannabis industry, most of which apply to other states with legalized cannabis as well.
Over 50 years ago, in the 1970s, the Nixon presidency did several things to draw attention away from the war in Vietnam, wanting to focus that attention on domestic issues, to try and win another term in the election. One of those steps was the war on drugs, simply for political reasons. We delve into it more in our social equity course, but a major part of this strategy was classifying marijuana as a Schedule I drug. This placed it in the same category as heroin and ecstasy. More importantly, the definition of a Schedule I drug is that it cannot have any medicinal or therapeutic benefits to humans. With that, there are many more ramifications of this concept that affect many parts of the cannabis industry, including credit cards and federal banks not allowing cannabis customers. Another is why you will never read anything in any cannabis establishment claiming cannabis will cure something, and why you cannot play doctor and say cannabis or marijuana will help your glaucoma, anxiety, or anything else, because doing so would violate the very definition of a Schedule I drug.
Module 2 covers safety and security, reinforcing the affirmative duty to act, a responsibility many agents aren't fully aware of. Let's bring up a real-life, possibly reportable example.
Let's say you glance outside and see 2 people in a parking lot exchanging a bag. From what you can tell, it's just 2 ordinary people exchanging what looks to be an ordinary but conspicuous brown paper bag. What do you think? Is this a reportable offense? If the CCC notices you watching the parking lot camera while you're working, what do you tell them you think is, or might be happening here? Well, unless you know the people and exactly what they're doing, anyone can argue both ways. It looks like it could be something illegal, like someone exchanging product or doing a drug deal. On the other hand, maybe it's an innocent exchange, like a parent dropping off their child's lunch. But the fact is, you just don't know. This fact means you should consider it suspicious, and you then have a duty to report it to your supervisor. No one is saying that something bad is definitely happening, but if you don't know, then that means it is suspicious. Remember that affirmative duty to act. Yep, it keeps popping up to remind you that you have to be an active participant, keeping our industry safe and compliant to remain a licensed agent.
Module 3 covers an important compliance. So here is a taste of how we tie real-world examples to everyday cannabis encounters.
Now let's explore a real-world compliance tip from us here at 420 Trainers. What's our favorite form of ID? The passport. But why? For the same reason it's used throughout the globe by passport control and immigration agents everywhere. All of the important information is in a very compact area, which allows customs agents to see all the essentials while still asking you questions at border entries around the world. If you've ever traveled internationally, you know the routine. A customs agent asks you simple questions like, what's the purpose of your visit, business, or pleasure? Or how long are you staying? Do you think they actually need to know the answers here? Do you think it really matters? Sorry, but no, they don't. And no, it doesn't. So what's the point? The point is your reaction. What customs agents are trained to do is exactly what we are training you to do. Trust your instincts as part of a thorough due diligence process. What they are really looking for is not how long you're staying, but are you hesitating or displaying any verbal or non-verbal anxiety or nervousness? And then they are able to easily see and watch for any type of off behavior, while also keeping an eye on all the relevant data in that very compact area of every passport. So trust your instincts and adopt the same policy of asking questions, while paying as much attention to how they are answered as you do to the answers themselves.
The next module, Module 4, handles tricky situations. So let's preview the new social consumption regulations, which present one legal exception to the mandate forbidding cannabis consumption in public.
These are locations within or adjacent to a licensed cannabis retailer or another venue which meet the CCC's vision for social consumption licenses, in which on-premises consumption of cannabis or cannabis-infused products may be consumed, permitted by the Commission and local governments. There are 3 categories for social consumption: supplementary, hospitality, and event organizer.
First, we have supplemental. This is for qualifying marijuana establishments, including cultivators, product manufacturers, retailers, micro-businesses, craft marijuana cooperatives, or delivery operators. These licenses allow on-site consumption within or attached to an existing establishment, to events within an existing or adjoining facility, and consumption of product purchased on-site.
Hospitality. This is for new or existing non-cannabis businesses to host on-site consumption events in partnership with qualifying marijuana establishments. Event organizers would permit on-site social consumption at events at businesses, like lounges, movie theaters, lodging facilities, and gyms.
And event organizer. This is for qualifying marijuana establishments to organize and host temporary consumption events, with a maximum of 24 events lasting no longer than 5 consecutive days per year. Only existing marijuana establishments would qualify for temporary on-site consumption permits during events. Exciting, right? Just imagine the possibilities to expose a whole new customer base that social consumption promises.
Module 5 talks about cannabis education. Let's wrap up with 2 key insights on ingesting cannabis products.
Ingestion occurs when you eat products infused with cannabis, like pills, gels, baked goods, candies, and all the other types of edible products. Carbohydrates and fibers take longer to absorb when digested, so the onset for anything ingested will typically take from half an hour to even 2 hours or longer, depending on several factors. We talked about how delta-9 THC transforms in the liver into the 11-hydroxy metabolite, which has a much higher potency than delta-9, and usually a different tolerance that is dose-related for each individual. As you probably figured, this just means that with edibles it takes much longer for the onset of effects, and that the potency is much higher, along with the duration, or how long you experience the effects. It is also good to remember that the onset of anything requiring digestion will be affected by whether we have an empty stomach when we ingested it. And not only is the onset delayed, but the duration of any effect is longer because of the slower release as the digestive system does its job.
Touching on oral absorption, meaning it is absorbed through the mouth, or there is a faster method of absorption called sublingual, from the Latin meaning under the tongue. If you look in the mirror, you will see the small capillaries under your tongue. These feed blood directly into the arteries, enhancing the swift onset with sublingual administration of drugs, including cannabis. Also, sublingual avoids any degradation or breakdown of chemicals which might occur when having to travel through the gastrointestinal or digestive tract. Oral absorption involves mints, lozenges, liquids, or tinctures extracted from the marijuana plant as oils. These products absorb quickly, especially if you hold them under your tongue for sublingual absorption for a faster onset of effect. The onset of effects from oral absorption typically range from 20 minutes up to an hour on average.
Great! Remember, this is just a taste of what 420 has to offer you and your team. Our expert-led courses provide top-tier RVT training, customer service, and advanced courses tailored to your team's needs. Need a custom course? We can do that too. Open 7 days a week. Text us anytime or give us a call. We'd love to hear from you.